It's the CEO's agenda. Let's pilot to the future if I can. First session of the day, special, bringing together 10 powerful retail leaders to crystal ball gaze, if you like, into the future of retail. Diverse portfolio of powerful leaders representing varied categories of retail who are here to discuss how retail is evolving and how people power is changing the Broadway to success for fashion, lifestyle, retail, real estate, food and grocery, and more. So let's welcome our esteemed panelists for the CEO's agenda to discuss the future of retail. The lineup reads a little something like this. We've got the CEO of the Alshaya Group, John Haddon. The CEO of Majid Al Futtaim Lifestyle, Fahad Khanim. Chief Executive Officer of Western Furniture, Miqdad Babrawala. The COO of the Eros Group joining us as well, Rashad Astana. The Chief Executive Officer of Spinny, Sunil Kumar. The co-founder of Magrodi's, Isabel Abuhol. The CEO of Retail and Workspace at Capitaland, Chris Chong. Group CEO of Apparel Group is Neeraj Tekchandani. And last but certainly not least, CEO of Sonoma Retail. Please welcome Dr. Gunter Helm to the lineup. Your moderator for this one, joining us again on stage, consumer retail industry leader from Deloitte. Please welcome Abab Marwa back onto the stage to be your moderator for the first panel of the morning.
So we've got an esteemed panel of CEOs and COOs here with us today who are going to reflect their views, their perspectives, their experience on where the retail market is heading over the coming period, and the opportunities and challenges that will naturally create. So I'm going to get straight into it because you want to hear from these individuals rather than myself. And we're going to pick the first theme around customer experience and growth. And Fahad, if you don't mind, I'm going to kick off with you. And you know, when you look to the future and you look at the coming years, what are some of the shifts in customer behavior and expectations that you're expecting in the region?
Hello. Yes. So first of all, happy morning to everyone, all our esteemed guests and panel. I also wanted to be a celebrity, so I'm enjoying my 2 minutes on stage. So shifts. Shifts are happening quite rapidly, not only in the region, but globally on the retail landscape. And we've seen quite an uptick in terms of that rapid change. And I believe retail companies that embrace change, technology, innovation, that customer centricity, sustainability, again, some of the trends that we've seen this morning from our esteemed colleague. So that focus is quite pivotal. Let me elaborate a little bit. So personalization is quite important today. We're using advanced analytics to be able to suggest personalized offering to our customers where they want, when they want. So moving from just harnessing the data and collecting of data towards actionable insights, embracing data as a culture rather than just for the data scientist to report on a monthly basis. So all this rapid change is quite important. We're also moving from pure transactional relationship with our customers. We've mentioned Mental Health Day today. We had a huge activation this week with Lululemon, inviting more than 2,000 of our guests outside the store. So that relationship beyond transactional is quite important. At that concept store, we built a lot of those trends by design into the store. So we moved from selling gasoline books into creating a cultural moment. That happened also last week with the founder and the family interacting and creating that space for communities. So that shift, you need to be comfortable with change. It makes us all nervous. It's uncharted territories for us all. So you need to be humble and try to move forward.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, Fahad. Raja, if I can come to you, you know, the business you're running is comparatively in some ways different to MAF, and your perspective on some of the customer behavior and expectations going forward.
Yes, I think the biggest factor which is influencing consumer decision making today is digitalization. I think there's no doubt about it that that's what's driving the so it has two aspects to it. One, of course, is the growth and development of e-commerce, which is a result of the digitalization, but also the impact of digitalization on retail, on brick and mortar retail. I think that's one factor which I think everybody has to recognize and take note of, is that today's consumer is going through the same process of buying, which includes, let's say, consideration, evaluation, decision making, or making a decision what to buy, buying, and then post-purchase feedback and review. And in all these aspects and the entire journey of consumer, I think the biggest factor which has come in is the digital space. The amount of data and the amount of information which today's average consumer is consuming on different platforms in the digital world is amazing. He's coming into the store much prepared. He's probably knowing more than what our salesman knows today. So we've got to up the game in terms of being up there, and that's what's actually changing the way consumer is today buying. Of course, retail is going nowhere. I think all the retail fraternity here, and we've got some good mall operators also represented today in this retail forum. We've created the most amazing let's say environment for retail in Dubai. So obviously retail is definitely going to be a growth engine in times to come. But yes, the role of the digital world in terms of the way consumer is buying, and the way consumer is approaching towards decision making on retail is definitely what's happening. And this seamless movement from offline to online. So it's pretty seamless. You move, you're consuming, and you're trying to get information of what you want to buy online throughout the day. You probably walk into a store because we represent an industry where probably the consumer wants to look, touch, and feel the product that he wants to buy, considering that we sell electronics, appliances, TVs, and stuff like that. So he's consuming a lot of information, coming very well prepared, walking into the store, and then again going back onto the online space to reaffirm that what he has chosen and what he has selected is actually the right product. And then, of course, the final challenge is the price comparison. So the biggest thing which is happening is that even after the consumer has made a decision to buy, he goes online and checks the price, and probably can still move to another retailer, whether in online or offline, in terms of where he gets the best price. So the whole journey of the consumer and the way he is approaching his decision making is changing because of digitalization. And I think that's the biggest trend which has happened and will continue to happen in the next few years.
It creates for a very difficult and transactional market at times as well, doesn't it? And John, just from an Alshaya perspective, some of your areas of focus for growth over the coming period.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you to see some old friends and some new friends on the panel today. Thank you for the invite. I'll give you the Alshaya perspective on where we are, and I think, as I say to my team every day, we are so lucky to be in this part of the world, would be the first thing I would say. When I talk to brand colleagues around the world, when I talk to friends and colleagues in retail across the rest of the world, there is no better place, in my opinion, at the moment to be from a retail perspective than here. We see huge areas of growth. We've been in retail for over 40 years, and I would say we're more excited now than we've ever been. Is it hard? Is there more competition? Is it more challenging? Do we need to be more customer focused? Absolutely. But I think if you look at the scale of growth in this part of the world and the future of what we see, particularly in some of the larger markets, I think the opportunity for all of us here is huge, as long as we show up well. From an Alshaya perspective, I'll probably split the question down into three areas. If I look at, first of all, if I say from a country perspective, I think the biggest areas of growth in the Middle East are fairly obvious to myself and to all my colleagues, I'm sure. So 90% of our revenues come from 4 markets. Those 4 markets are Saudi, Turkey, UAE, and Kuwait. And they represent, as I say, nearly 90% of the 17 countries we operate in. When I look at those countries, big opportunity for us to continue to grow in Turkey, but the biggest area of opportunity here is Saudi. I spent the whole last week with our senior team in Saudi, looking at the market, looking at the opportunity, the change in that market. We now have nearly 5,000 Saudi females working for us in Saudi. If you said that to me 5 years ago, if you said it to my friend Mohammed at the front there 10 years ago, and you see the change of that market is beyond all expectation. Now, it's tough at the moment. Saudi isn't easy. Consumer spending is down, but the opportunities for growth in that particular market are huge. Big opportunities here. If you're not making money in the UAE at the moment, you're doing something seriously wrong, in my impression, because this market is just on fire, and what the government and everybody else is doing here is quite incredible. So Saudi, big opportunity to grow, UAE opportunity to grow, Turkey, and then Kuwait, which is our home market, which we know very well. We have 700 stores in Kuwait, is another area of opportunity. So big focus for us on the next few years on Saudi, in particular Riyadh, our sister company at the moment, Mabani, with their partner Shamul. We've got under construction the largest shopping mall in Saudi, second largest mall in the region. And we're big believers in shopping malls, and we're big believers in retail space. So big opportunity for us to continue to grow. From a brand perspective, I would say of the 70 brands, the number one brand for us to expand, and probably comes as no surprise to many of you, is Starbucks. We have 2,000 Starbucks units. We open 250 stores every year across the markets we operate in. And that business and that particular segment has changed beyond all recognition through store design, digitalization, and the multi-format opportunity we have there, we think, is huge to continue the growth. We see clear white space in the markets we operate to get to close to 3,000 stores in the next 5 years. And I've got to stay ahead of the competition because Niraj, for example, has an excellent brand in Tim Hortons that is beating me up on real estate every single day of the week, but a fabulous brand on Tim Hortons. You've got Algarnon with Costa and Emirates. So I think competition is healthy, but big opportunities to grow between the F&B segment for us, not just in Starbucks, but other F&B brands. And then we'll bring new brands. So we announced recently Chipotle, which is the Mexican grill, which will come here and will open in the first quarter of next year. So always looking at new opportunities to grow. But as I said before, what a fabulous, fabulous place to be at the moment in this particular part of the world, because there is growth here, and there is not growth in many, many parts of the world. So as I say, I think we're very fortunate in this room. We should use that opportunity to continue to grow and remain ahead of the competition and keep the customer, as we say, everything at the forefront of what we do.
Thank you. Thank you very much, John. Same question, Migdad, for yourself. Nature of your business, furniture orientated. Where do you see the growth from your business perspective coming?
Hi. You may know that I've been from the high-end furniture retail. We want to take advantage of the opportunities created by the real estate and tourism industries, whereby we would like to provide turnkey single window solution in interiors. We would like to go into hospitality, do the projects for hotels, resorts, restaurants, cinemas, etc. We also would like to partner with the developers to give them the right solution for their project, and perhaps co-branding, because co-branding is a lot of in vogue now. People would like to identify their property with the brands. We also would like to create our presence in the malls, where the shopping culture in the malls is growing, and we have started recently our store in Dubai Hills Mall. We also going into Yas Mall. We also talking about Expo Mall. So from the standalone point of a store to going into the mall, where we have more footfall and we increase the brand awareness. We also investing our resources in stock management, where we can reduce our overstocking, understocking, and also understand the behavior of the customer in terms of optimizing the inventory management. We're looking at expansion, as he said, that Saudi Arabia is coming up, so we are also thinking of going to Oman and Saudi Arabia, where high-end furniture demand is increasing. That's what on the list at the moment. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So given everyone is talking about Saudi, let's move towards a focus on the Saudi market, the rapid growth expected and so forth. So Gunther, from a Sonomi perspective, it would be good to get your perspective on your sort of business priorities of how to leverage the opportunity in the Saudi market.
First of all, thank you for having me here, and I think I'm the only one who's really coming directly from Riyadh and experiencing the heat over there in multiple ways. It's a unique opportunity, and as John said, at the moment, I've been in the retail industry all over the world. What's happening in the Middle East is, I think, unique in history, and it's hard to copy and see where the next thing will be, because for the next 20 years, I'm quite sure UAE and especially Saudi Arabia has a huge potential for all of us sitting here. And as John also said, retail is not easy. You have to fix the things what you have to do and be cost-aware, customer located and so on. But the biggest challenge what Saudi Arabia is, apart from all the overwhelming projects which are announced on a daily basis, is to keep up with your workforce and train them properly, because all the topics with data coming, with artificial intelligence, at the end of the day, you have to train the people how do you have to operate it, and that's the huge challenge what we are facing, and I think everyone else has. But nevertheless, it's I would say the place to be.
Brilliant, thank you, thank you. And if I can get similar perspective from yourself, Sunil, with Spinneys and what's your plans around the Saudi market?
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to give some perspective of our brand Spinneys. Actually, by 2024. We are actually celebrating our 100 years of existence in this region. Unfortunately, we wanted to be known as a Middle East brand. Spinneys is actually a Middle East brand. And we are here 60 years of existence in Dubai. But I don't know why we never went to Saudi as a market. And one of the reasons, probably the challenges what everybody knows, how is Saudi market is altogether. But if I look at the retailers in Saudi, the top 10 brands is only having a 23% market share. That itself says how fragmented Saudi market is altogether. Now, we can't be known as a Middle East brand without having a presence in Saudi, of course. 35 million people, and so one of the things what we are strategically approached to have our brand is in the city where the household income will actually support the premium retailer like Spinneys. So we are going to Riyadh and Jeddah, and we will be opening our first store in February, March in 2024, and the second store in King Abdullah Financial District. And we are actually working with Sonomi to get 3-4 stores in their development, and I hope that will happen. So
you will do great.
So that's the plan for Saudi. Of course, the Neon and Red Sea we wanted to be there, but first of all, we wanted to establish the brand and the customer experience what we wanted to give to the society and the community. And I'm not sure, because if I look at the Saudi market altogether, that it is a big differentiator. We have a complete infrastructure in Dubai. If you look at, we have a factory production, we have a big logistics, our supply chain is so efficient. But that will be a challenge when we go to Saudi. So we have to be we are looking at it in all the aspects of possible challenges, and we will overcome Saudi. I think it is a market where next 5 to 10 years, we will be able to grow in that market because the opportunity is enormous.
Terrific, terrific. And great to see the collaboration between Spinneys and Sonomi.
Sonomi,
well.
Of course.
I'm going to change tact a little bit. Let's move to the concept of innovation. And Isabel, if I can come to you first. There's been a bit of conversation this morning around some of the emerging technologies, metaverse, Gen AI, etc. How do you see that impacting the retail sector, and specifically in the context of your business?
Bit of technology, forgive me. Lovely to see everyone here, and I feel quite honoured to be the only female representing females here on the panel today. I think that is quite an important thing, because in much retail, it is the woman who is making the decisions. Now, obviously, data will show that. You have that capability. I think data is incredible. I was a very early adopter in the 90s of specialist software, particularly on books, which meant I could access any book in the English language in print. And that meant we were able to offer our customers an unrivaled experience in terms of finding rare books, finding books that had just come back into print, and so on. So I am a total believer in data. But I'm also a kinesthetic person. I have to touch everything. If I'm buying something, particularly clothing, I want to feel it, I want to smell it. Some clothes, new clothes, have a horrible smell, and I will just put them back. You don't know that. I've opened things that one of my daughters has bought, and it's come, you know, via one of the big giants, and she opens it up, and there's this, obviously the dye or something they use. I would never buy anything like that. So I think all of our senses, whether it's smell, whether it's touch, whether it's visual, there is still a very good place for retail. But we have had, since the late 90s, Magrudy's has always had both an online presence and a presence in the community. And community for us, for a homegrown family brand, is very much in our communities. And we see, sort of post-COVID, this shift to the convenience of having a Magrudy's near you rather than in a big mall. And that might just be for our brand. But data, what it can do for us, is incredible. I could go back to the 90s and tell you every bestseller since then. In that, I couldn't personally do it, but I could find someone who could mine that data to say, because the patterns, for example, we have a shop in Al Ain, we have a shop in Abu Dhabi, we have a shop in Dubai, different shops in these different markets. Each shop has a different type of customer, and I'm always very interested in that. So I know on a daily basis what have been the top sellers in each of those. So we have to change our product according to what the data tells us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Niraj, same question. From an apparel group perspective, emerging technologies, new innovation must be critically important.
Hello. It's on. Exactly. So I think data is very critical, and we have also advanced on that journey with Gen AI. So some of the use cases which we started with, first of all, was simple things like transfer optimization. So movement of the goods, because footwear being a large piece of the business, we had a lot of those merging and things like that, which was previously done by humans and on Excels. We did that as a use case with Gen AI. So transfer optimization worked very well. People were surprised with the results, and we saw great adoption. And linked to that, we then moved to markdown optimization, and now as we speak, we are moving to dynamic pricing and price optimization. So these are first of the steps that we moved over here in terms of the Gen AI. But there are a lot more things which are also happening in parallel, like HR, marketing, legal, and finance. These are some of the places where ChatGPT is playing a big role, and the people have started adopting within the organization. I mean, last year, nobody was even talking around this space, and today, these are things in implementation. We saw this morning 100 million users in less than 2 months. That's true. We are all adopters of that and have implemented. The next thing we are also seeing, how can we deliver the hyper-personalized customer service by recognizing the customer through the Gen AI, who can scan the QR code at any of the apparel group stores, and it empowers the sales staff with all the customer history and data around that. So a lot of those cases which have already been implemented, and we see some phenomenal results.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Chris, constant need to disrupt, constant need to change and innovate. And how critical and important is it in the retail industry? Your perspective on that, please.
Okay. So just coming from Asia, I thought sharing a few things that we've seen over the past 20 years could be relevant, is that I think the first thing that we all got to recognize is that retail is always cyclical. And one of the key challenges, of course, right now for everyone working in retail is that we have to unlearn and relearn a lot of things that we see. And I think that's not easy because whether it's ourselves, whether it's our partners, the employees, we have to have this constant journey. But the second thing as well that we sort of learned is that retail started off many years ago more like an art, because the art of retail is really about knowing, do you like this color? If you talk about fashion, do you like the size? Do you like the design? Do you like the style? But with all these data that we are seeing on the daily basis, retail has now become a science, because you need to look at data analytics, you need to study a lot of data. But we have to keep in mind that data is not information if we don't know exactly what are we trying to answer, or what's the kind of informed decisions that we need to make. So I think the trap that sometimes we fall into is that we have so much data that we just go after all these data to try to analyze them. But the cost of data acquisition is not cheap. So that is where we need to bring back the art of retail again, because then we need to be very specific about what are the kinds of touch points that is relevant or that are relevant to the consumers. And I think this is where the whole customer journey is important. I think yourself, you mentioned that you would like to be a talk show host. And for myself, I would like to bring back the drama in retail, because I think retail can never survive if you don't have that drama. So I just want to share that with all these processes and that retail fast becoming a science, we shouldn't forget the art in the retail.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, look, the other aspect there's been a lot of conversation around is omni-channel, John. How far do you think retailers have gone with omni-channel in terms of successfully implementing it within the region? Is there more that still can be done?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's not an option anymore. I think for many of us that have been bricks and mortar retailers, the move into omni-channel was slow to start with. I think COVID helped accelerate that, and coming out of COVID, it's no option. We wouldn't launch a brand without having a mobile app, without having an online platform, without having bricks and mortars and stores. The worry I have, and we talk about a lot, is the disruptors that are coming in, particularly in this market, particularly in apparel. So unless we show up in a truly omni-channel perspective, we are going to get absolutely beaten up, particularly, I think, with some of the large players that are coming from Asia that are pure omni-channel players. If you look at the moment, take Shein, for example, any of you that are in the apparel business like we are, these guys are massive, massive disruptors, particularly in Saudi Arabia at the moment. They don't pay rent, they don't employ Saudis, they don't have to pay taxes, yet the consumer absolutely loves them. So as we start to think about them, as you think about Temu and these other guys that are coming into this market to disrupt, in my opinion, we have two competitive advantages and we need to focus. One is speed. So whatever we do, whatever we deliver, however we deliver it, whatever, it has to be fast. Whether that's 6 hours, 1 hour. I was with a large retailer yesterday who was talking about 45 minutes delivery and actually meeting that 45 minutes. So speed is one thing we need to improve on, and certainly within our business we need to improve the speed of delivery to the consumer in whichever way we want to go, because if we don't, we're going to get absolutely beaten up. The other is the bricks and mortar and the in-store experience. So the bricks and mortar in-store experience and speeds to market or speed to consumer are the two advantages we have. We can never beat these guys on price. We'll struggle to beat them on fashionability in my perspective, because they're so quick to bring stuff to market. So unless we have that total omni-channel view, and we can deliver quickly, and we can give them the best experience in stores, that's the only way we're going to survive, especially as many of us as franchise retailers today, because if we don't do that, then we're going to get absolutely beaten up. So the focus for us, because we are predominantly a bricks and mortar retailer, is how do we improve that customer experience, but at the same time, you cannot ignore omni-channel. Most people make their choices these days on this thing. 75% of the purchases across our 100 e-com sites are done on the mobile. Now, we have click and collect, and we have other ways of people going into stores to pick up product. But unless we're super quick and super fast, we will really, really fail, because we are more profitable in the bricks and mortar stores. We want people to go in our stores. It's a big advantage for us, but only if that experience is the best it can possibly be. Otherwise, the guys and these disruptors that are going to come in are going to continue to eat our lunch, and it's going to continue to be an issue unless regulations come in to stop some of this stuff. But I think in this market here, I think it's difficult to control that. But when you think about the cost base they have compared to the cost base that we have and the nationals that we're employing, I think at the moment there's an imbalance there that's not fair. But we're up for the competition, and we'll find a way to beat it through good customer service and speed of delivery.
Brilliant, thank you, thank you. I'm going to change the dial and move us on to the topic of people. And Fahad, I know this is something that's very close to your heart. So if you look at the generation today, in particular Gen Z, there's a much more growing focus around making sure the corporate values of an organization cover people, profit, and the planet. How do you create that compelling employee value proposition that really inspires and motivates individuals?
Well, it has to be built around an authentic culture. And Gen Zs and new talent is looking for purpose-led organizations today that are delivering on the slogan that they might have. So when we communicate internally, we say we're not in the business of retail, we're in the business of creating great moments for our customers, for our people, and for our partners. So I've been heavily invested in driving our culture programs over the last 5 years to drive that transformation. So like John said, we're having competition from abroad, and it's ruthless. There's an imbalance, and the only way for you to keep up with that change is to build a thriving culture where you're able to attract talent and retain talent, and most importantly, empower that talent to be able to drive that change. So you have to let go of that control and be comfortable with opening up and empowering the young generation to do their thing. They understand their generation much more than we do, and they think quite differently. So that was quite disruptive to us as an organization, and driving that change was quite important. So we adopted technology and addressed it as a culture. Sustainability is a big topic with new generations, and that's something that's good for the planet, so we love it, and it's also good for the P&L. So we built stores that are more sustainable, built from the region, and better for the environment. We try to partner more and more with brands that source sustainably because Gen Zs care and are able to track, so that's quite important. So you want to work for an organization that adds value to the community versus destroys value, and that was quite important. And it's about the Kaizen, the small changes. So in sustainability, it was adopting those small changes. So as an organization, we committed big to becoming net positive by 2040. And that was amazing. But then employees want to feel that. What does that mean on a day-to-day? So for example, we got rid of single-use plastic at the head office. We gave everybody usable bottles, and we had our water fountain. Small changes makes a big difference. And then the generation of ideas started to come from across organization telling us what else can we do on the stores and across our supply chain. So it became more of a snowball effect. And that more and more goes back to people and culture.
Perfect, thank you, thank you. And if I expand on that, Miqdad, taking that concept around leadership, if you look at your team, what are some of the expectations or growing expectations that your team have from you as a leader, and how is that changing?
Well, as a leader, my people and team would expect me to provide them the well-being, the growth, and job security. So well-being is an essential part of any organization, and it can be achieved by providing work-life balance, whereby avoiding long working hours, managing work shifts based on their choice, which is now, work from home culture is, but as a retail, we cannot have that option. Communication with the team to make sure that it's open and transparent communication, understand their concern, their needs, and ideas for improvement. The safety, provide safety to ensure that the working environment is implemented with safety protocols. Safety equipments are installed, and they provide training to operate them. Best medical facilities to attract them. We can also assess their skills and interests to understand each employee's current interests, their career goal, and elevate their profile. can provide training and development, offering training workshops, increasing product knowledge and technical skills, etc. Mentorship and coaching, pair them with the experienced mentor. Promotions and advancement. So promotion criteria on the transparent based and merits also. Performance-based incentives. This is the most critical thing, to provide incentives. So in the sales, this is the main criteria. So we time by time we improve always our incentive program to make sure that performance is achieved. That could be so many things can be done.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. There's a number of different areas that can be explored. Thank you very much. What I want to do is, maybe I'm going to ask a last question and ask this to all of our panelists in a few words. If you look forward to 2030, which is a number of years away, but what would your advice be to retailers in terms of continuing to be successful, continue to thrive in the market as you look forward to 2030? Maybe we just go around. Gunther, maybe we start with yourself in a few words, if you may.
2030 is a very important number for us in Saudi. What I think about is master your data, train your people, understand your customer.
Thank you.
I would say go big, go bold, invest in digital transformation, and focus on the consumer.
For me, it's collaborate, because there's so many things to do and we can't do it all alone, and the best is to really form strategic partnerships. Yeah.
Continue to evolve, listen to your customers, start new trends, follow those mad ideas, because those mad ideas may not be so mad in a few years, and understand the importance of a gender balance in your retail workforce.
One particular thing to say is an uncertainty on 2030. You don't know what is to come. So my advice will be, see the complete ecosystem of stakeholders and enable them to add value, either whether it is your supplier, whether it is factories, whether it is an employees, customers, enabling them adding value, whatever they're doing.
So I feel the most important is not just manage, but lead the change. I think the markets, the consumer is changing faster than probably the people, as us retailers are doing. So as we started off with the theme of crystal ball glazing, I think this gazing the crystal ball probably today is more important than it ever was, because probably the next 10 years or up to 2030, we really don't know what new challenges are going to come forward. But definitely if we need to manage and we need to lead the change to be ahead of everybody else.
Create a strong team which align with the company's goals and targets, and focus on customers' buying behavior to understand what they want and provide them with the same thing.
Be bold, be passionate, do it together. Embrace change. Be obsessed with customers. Drive innovation and fail fast.
Get people to drink more coffee. So 3 for us, because my colleagues have done a great job. For us, it's customer, people, and performance. Focus on the customer, focus on the people that work for you, and that will deliver the performance you need.
Thank you very much, John. All right. My thank you to the panelists. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to finesse my interview skills. Big round of applause for our panelists, and I hope their input and perspective was useful to you all. Thanks.